Hello everyone, my name is Sainath from Videsh Consultz, a 14 years old overseas education consultancy where along with sending the students abroad, we also mentor them to choose the right career and train them in the different procedures needed to get a successful visa processing and scholarships. Along with sending students about 1000 every year to Italy, we also been very meticulous in sending the students to other countries like Germany, Latvia, Lithuania, France, Poland, Denmark and etc. So in this video today we are going to discuss about the present situation in Italy and after the onslaught of COVID-19, safety of Indian students presently in Italy along with the application procedures for the visa and the scholarships. So we'll be discussing much detail into about Italian university rankings. So I hope to you all enjoy this video. Today, our esteemed guest is Dario. Some of you have met him during his seminars in India, and he has been carrying a beacon of Italian education and working tirelessly with many public and private universities in designing, developing, and implementing programs that will not only improve the quality of education of Italian universities but also improve their QS worldwide rankings. By virtue of his close association with the universities, he is well versed with all the things related to Italian education. So let us get into more deep insights from him. Welcome, Dario. Mr. Dario. So, hello, Dario. How are you?
I'm very fine. Thank you, Sainath.
Thank you, Dario. So, Dario, first of all, congratulations on the Italy's great achievement on controlling the COVID. And we have been following it in the internet and also in the news that Italy has almost made a very great, remarkable influence on this. So, how do you find about it?
Well, let's say, yes, we overcome the first wave, also because we were among the first countries in the world to get hit by the virus. Life here is almost back to normal. We are now hoping that if and when the temperatures will decrease, because we are in full summer, and so when the fall will come, the COVID flu may come back, but at that time we should have the vaccines for everyone, and therefore we should overcome this once and for all.
It's very good. And could you also let us know about the present situation and how is the public life and how is the people moving around and the social life and the gatherings, please?
Well, people are allowed to go out and there's no visible restraints when you are in open air. We are requested to wear masks only when we are inside buildings and other confined spaces. Schools and universities are closed here, but we are expected to open them in September, even though we'll have to promote still some social distancing measures. Classes will be filled at a maximum of 50% capacity, with students taking 50% of the classes online and 50% on-site. So alternating between online and on-site.
Right. And also, I have also been speaking to some of the students there, and they were actually telling everything is absolutely normal, and the public life and the public transport, everything is actually open, and the movement within the European area is also quite open now within the European region and the Shenzhen region. So it's very great to know and very great achievement so far. And also, you might be aware about the present situation of Indian students who is already there in Italy. And we know because of the pandemic, most of the students' parents were quite worried, how it's going to be. And some people hurriedly came back to India. And of course, now, the matter of fact, today is August 7th, and some students actually, not some students, most of the students whom I know, they came back to India, are now planning to go back to India, Italy, just because of this thing. So could you please focus some light on the students who's actually stayed back in Italy and how was their situations?
Yeah. Well, Indian students, just like all other international students with a valid residence permit, were and still are allowed to live here in Italy. They were obviously not requested to leave the country. Classes at major universities have been operated in online mode until now, until the usual summer break. If an international student had decided to go back, not to go back home during the COVID crisis, he or she will be able to get back to class just like the locals. So once again, 50% of the time, taking turns between online and on-site classes. Other than that, I would say that everything else, as you said, is back to normal. So students have been able not only to go around Italy, but also go to other Schengen countries with no limitations whatsoever.
Right, it's indeed. And also the medical facilities, especially like in Italy, like I got to know about like all the education, like medical facilities, all the hospitals, they are covered by the local government, and all the international students also, they can get the free like treatments if at all anything required. So could you please tell us about how this system is working, like how the government is providing and taking care of all the medical expenses and stuff like this?
Well, yeah, when you are even as an international student, when you have a regular residence permit, you're going to be treated just like a local. So Italy is one of the few countries maybe in the world where you don't have to pay for your health, for your visits. You can basically go to a public hospital whenever it's needed. And that's just about it. They will check your document, but again, they don't really. They just check your ID, and over the ID it says that you are a regularly resident in Italy. And at that time, there's really no difference between you being an Italian or a foreigner. They just treat you as if you be an Italian. So you're gonna go through all screenings that are needed for whatever kind of problem you might experience for you to go to an hospital.
Wow, that's very great news actually, because at this moment everybody's worried about the COVID situations and the plus and minus about the hospital situations availability. And it's very great that Italian government also providing the health facilities on equal basis with the locals. So which is a very excellent thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so Dario, I would like to congratulate you once again for your great achievements for getting the better rankings for most of the universities. And this year, when I compare to the last year rankings, like this year, Sapienza University is actually ranked better. Politecnico di Milano, University of Bologna, University of Bari. There's so many rankings actually like that doing quite well. So can you please share about this, how this rankings works about and how this is being calculated?
Yeah. Well, QS rankings try to evaluate universities worldwide using several parameters. They implement the biggest academic survey by interviewing professors from all around the world, asking them opinions about the best universities of their choice in their dedicated discipline. Over about 100,000 professors participate in this ranking, in this survey every year. QS also performs a similar survey for employers, which highlights which universities are preferred by companies in different fields. The agency also evaluates universities for their research through an analysis of the scientific production of the universities. Finally, QS takes into account several aspects related to the didactic activities, how many professors are employed in relation to the students' body, how many international faculty teach at these universities, and how many international students choose the university from abroad. When you basically weigh in all these factors, it comes out that Italian universities are performing very well as a bunch. We have 3 universities that are in the top 200 in the world, and then there's many others that are in the top 500 in the world. And this is really outstanding, especially considering that the average investment from the government to the universities is not really that big. So it's the results are growing despite the fact that the investment is not increasing, and that's of course a good sign. If and when hopefully the investment, the central government will invest more, then the university will boost their performance even more.
Right. So it's very good to see that actually. And also, Dario, would the rankings also consider the employability of the students?
Indirectly, they basically consider there's a survey of the employers that basically so employers are invited. There's about 50,000 employers every year that participate in the survey, and they state from which universities they like to choose their future employees. So it is indirect, but yes, basically according to this survey. Again, Italian universities are preparing students very well. There are some universities like Politecnico di Milano, which really do an outstanding job. They are in the top 100 universities in the world for that. But also other universities like Sapienza, Bologna. There's many other universities that are in the top 200 or 300 in the world for that, which means really among the top, really at the top. If you consider that there's over 20,000 universities in the world that are considered universities in the world, this means that basically I would say all the Italian public universities are in the top 5% of the overall universities in the world, and that's outstanding. Yeah.
Excellent. Because actually, like even when we were discussing last time, also you were mentioning about. So any university which is among world top 1,000 rankings, that is one of the excellent to be considered. Yes.
Of course.
So it is
of course. Yes.
yes. Because I know actually there's so many numerous universities from Italy, and all these actually like one common thing is they are among world top 1,000, which means all the public universities, they are actually doing tremendous job towards the research activities or towards the education, towards the development of the society. It's actually like indeed a great contribution from these universities.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Dario, actually, could you please explain us about the Italian education standards and also like the Bologna procedures and how does actually this actually works?
Yeah. Well, in Italy, the right to study is granted by a constitutional law. So over 90% of the local international students alike are enrolled at public universities, where standards of quality are set and verified by the central government every year. All universities here must perform research activities. Hence, we don't have colleges engaged in didactic only. For this reason, the quality of research at Italian universities is very high, especially if you compare International Citations Index with the average governmental investment in universities in Italy. Here we are able to do a lot with relatively fewer resources than in other countries. Maybe student services are not as advanced as some Anglo-Saxon destinations, such as Australia, Canada, or the US, but the cost of studying, of course, is much lower, and therefore students who are in need of getting more services from a didactic standpoint, they can get them from the private sector. Last but not least, all Italian universities are currently performing according to the Bologna process. Therefore, all degrees that are granted by any Italian universities are automatically recognized all over Europe and granting ECTS credits. So whichever university a student may choose, he or she will get a degree which is recognized in over 42 countries in the world automatically.
Oh, excellent. And actually, Daniel, like, how does actually the present universities are planning because of the present chaotic situations of COVID-19? Most of the parents are worried about like this security, and actually like sitting in the classroom is nearly impossible now. That's what actually the present situation in India is going now. But I'm very sure like Italy is actually very come back to normal, and you're planning to start the classes and stuff. So I would like to know from your end actually how the universities are prepared to conduct the classes for the coming semester.
Well, yeah, as described before, the first semester will be partially conducted online and the remaining part on site. Students will rotate, so for them to never exceed a quarter of 50% of the usual occupancy in class. Our projections say that more or less 1/3 of the students that were usually in class in 2019 will be in class on the first semester this year. The international students who are not in Europe right now, including freshmen, will have to study online for the whole semester, but universities are organizing this already, so that will be available. We are planning to get back to normal and teach fully on site starting on the second semester, which means starting February 2021. That's also the time when we expect international students to be back in Italy because their visa will be finally granted. And obviously, much will depend upon the COVID situation, the COVID emergency, how it will be in February or in January 2021. But that's what we expect given the projections we have.
So it's very good to know about this optimistic information, because like most of the students now who got the admissions, they are quite worried about this strange situation, which is unusual for everybody. But thanks to the Italian university about conducting the same via online until they get the visa. And once they get the visa, they can go and join the classes. And that is very helpful for the students to decide upon this. that actually like first they can start the classes from September without wasting any time. So which is a great advantage for them because the international education at a lower pricing they are able to join, which is a great option for them.
Exactly.
And also like, could you please also tell us about why would the tuition fees is so less? Though I'm seeing the rankings are among the world top thousands and world top 500s, and the tuition fees is such a low. How would it actually be possible?
Yeah. Well, the average cost of study in Italy for the government at a university for each student exceed 12,000 euros per year. Of course, it depends upon the discipline and upon the university. But obviously, medical schools are even much more expensive than this. But students, who don't qualify for a scholarship, even those who come with zero scholarship, they are only requested to pay approximately 10% of that amount because the rest, so over 90%, is covered by the government. Together with Germany and very few other countries, Italy is one of the few places in the world that treat students, international students, just like locals in terms of tuition fees and scholarships. And therefore, that's one reason why we have been able to steadfastly attract many international talents from all around the world.
It's very great, helpful for information for the student tell you. Because see, when we compare with the tuition fees from US, UK, Australia, it is actually like tens of thousands of euros what they have to pay per annum. But when we talk about Italian universities, I know for sure, like Sapienza University of Rome, they are actually charging 1,000 euros, and the University of Messina 750 euros. Even that fees also, again, actually they are further reducing if they're eligible for scholarship. So, which is actually a wonderful option for the students to take on because like they can get quality of education and stuff. So in this thing, actually, like I would like to go further deep into this. Like, how does this scholarships works? Because like the student from India or student from non-European country, and they are still eligible to apply for the living expenditure scholarship. Apart from the tuition fees, which is being considered very low, still they are able to get on this. So could you please further elaborate on this, please?
Yeah. Well, students here are supported by the central government when studying. If a student comes from a low-income family, he or she must not be prevented from studying because of financial reasons. Hence, the regional government scholarships supporting many students in need. To be frank, international students get the scholarships in larger number than Italians, and there's a reason for that. The minimum income to be considered for the scholarship is settled upon Italian standards for poverty. The same standards, as you can imagine, are applied if you apply the same standards, Euro standards, to other countries, you can get a very different system. So let's say a poor family in Italy is earning the equivalent of a middle income family in India, and that's the reason why there's basically a larger percentile of Indian students with scholarships than Italians, because once again, everything is calculated in euros and in European standards. So that's the reason why you have so many students from India and the surrounding countries with scholarships here.
Oh, it's very great information. So now actually we can more or less say that the students whose annual income is less than about 10,000 euros per annum and where they are of course eligible for the scholarships, which as per our
Exactly.
experience, I find it and which is very helpful. And most of the students who are considered to be rich is usually in that bracket. But whereas when
Yeah,
we get the same into Europe, actually, as per the European
exactly.
standard, considering the GDP is quite higher than India. So naturally, like
Exactly.
the factor is being calculated accordingly, and it's very helpful for them. Yeah. And then
Exactly.
also, can we focus on how would be the job prospects or how would be the after course stay and work permit options available for the students?
Yeah. Well, international students are already allowed to work as soon as they arrive in Italy as students. They are only allowed to work part-time, 20 hours per week maximum, but they can get a taste of the work environment through that. But most importantly, once they graduate, they have 1 year time to search for a job, not only in Italy, but in any other Schengen country. So during that 1 year after graduation, the companies that interview the students, they don't need to sponsor the student. They don't need to produce any paperwork to get the student working. So if the student is able to find a job within 1 year from graduation, then at that point their residence permit will be renewed, and then from that moment on, the company can renew the permanent the residency of the student themselves without any sponsoring, which is very important, because it means that, again, the student, even in this case, they will be considered just like locals, just like Italians.
Wow, very good information. So this is actually like more or less the same, because what I have been seeing is actually a student who passed out from any public university of Italy or any private university of Italy, and since they have the Schengen visa, also they have been allowed to do the work even in other European countries also, right?
Of course, yes, they can go to Germany, France, Austria, the Netherlands, or any other Schengen country freely, just like they can search for a job in Italy, they can go anywhere else in Schengen country for the same matter for 1 year.
Okay, so it's a very excellent option. Not only just one country they have, and they can go for all the European countries. And in
Exactly.
particularly, I have been seeing so many students who already graduated from University of Messina, University of Sapienza, and they are working in different parts of Italy, and of course, many of people and outside Italy also within the European region because of the Schengen.
Exactly.
So it's a great advantage for
Exactly.
them. And one particular thing actually like about the present procedural changes, because this year, because of the COVID, the pre-enrollment, which actually till last year the student used to supposed to go to the concerned Bombay or the Delhi embassy, and then they have to do the pre-enrollment physically. After that, they have to take the DOV and they have to apply for the visa. And also the offer letters, which earlier days the universities used to issue or some offer letter which confirming the eligibility of the student, which they used to give it in a letter format. And now, which we have been seeing the recent changes, where the universities are actually like instead of giving the letters, they're actually only limiting and only sending an emails upon the credential evaluation stating you have been positively evaluated or your evaluation has been successful or it's been rejected in some very rare
Yeah.
cases. So could you please explain actually why would these differences and about the procedures actually what are the new things we have to proceed on?
Yeah. Well, this year the Italian educational system is testing a new online portal, which is called Universitali. This will be used not only by the universities and the students, but it will also be used by the embassies and by the police stations where the student have to register themselves once they arrive in Italy. Students will use the portal once they have been already pre-selected by the university of their choice. So they can use the portal once they already are sure about the program they want to register. They submit the application on Universitali, and at that point, when it will be time for them to apply for the visa, the Italian embassies worldwide will find the students already on that same portal, already as accepted by the university of their choice. So for this reason, there's no need for the student to provide a letter from the university stating their acceptance, because the universities and the embassies will dialogue through the portal. Finally, when they will arrive in Italy, the police stations where they will request a residence permit will use the same portal to find the students. This year, as you can imagine, is the first, so we expect some malfunctions. There have been delays, and also sometimes the pages don't upload well. But in general, it's a good innovation that should help international students in their overall experience with the Italian bureaucracy, especially in the dialogue between, again, first the universities, then the embassies, and finally the police stations.
Wow. So actually, like, this is very helpful even for the students to speed up the procedures, because earlier days physically they used to go and they used to write emails asking for the confirmations. Again, the constant need to write to the universities. Now everything has actually like made just quite easy procedure with a single portal and everybody is interconnected. So which means the transparency is quite higher, because earlier days when student does a pre-enrollment, sometimes in that list the university won't get identify them and stuff. And because of the
Yeah.
new procedures, it is like quite easy where the student can see himself. Like once they complete the pre-enrollment online, they are getting a reward immediately from the university stating, yes, see, pre-enrollment is been accepted and has been sent to the concerned consulates. So you can proceed for the visa. So which is actually
Yeah.
like a quite a innovative measure, and which like reduces the time and also the student efforts to travel all the way to consulates, especially in this COVID times. This will be definitely very careful and very helpful measure, which is very advantageous for the students. Yeah.
Yes, we expect again this year. As you can imagine, we can expect some, unfortunately, some delays and some malfunctions. But once again, from next year for sure, that the system will work much more smoothly, and the experience will be very good.
Yes. So everywhere, actually, the first time is always the first time for everybody.
For sure, as always. Yes, that's true.
So that you actually like, it's really a pleasure for us to have you having you associated with us from the last 10 years, and we have been quite happy for this association and for all your beautiful insights, which actually helped us come this way. So I would like to know your experience about Videsh.
Same year, Sainath. Videsh has been by far the best recruitment solution we have had in India and beyond. Not only I have appreciated the work and dedication of you and Shashi, the founder of the company, but I also can testify the same level of commitment from the staff working in the offices. I heard similar um, mm, basically thoughts about all the university officers who have come throughout these years in India. They have been always speaking wonders about the job that you guys have done. So I'm really glad to have met you now about 10 years ago. And I hope to be able to work with you for many years more to come.
We also look forward to the same, Dario. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you, Sainath.
So, Niralio, like, let me take the pleasure once again of thanking you very much from bottom of my heart, actually, like of having this wonderful session and also a very informative indeed for the students. And we hope to do the same in the coming days and the coming weeks, and like as and when the new updates are coming up, so that actually like our students community will be actually getting better information timely.
With most pleasure. And of course, until the time we're going to be able to come back to India and do it in person, which, as you know, is our real pleasure.
We actually miss it a lot. See, like it's very lively, the physical presence, and especially in the March, you are supposed to be coming to India in the March 15th, I suppose, and we have been discussing about the venues and stuff with actually mega Italian education fair. So I
Yes,
hope very soon we would be able to organize the same.
with most pleasure. We're going to be there for sure.
Thank you, Dario. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Sainath. Bye.
My dear students and parents, thank you for watching this video. It is evident that from the details provided by Dario that Italy is one of the best destinations for abroad studies for both bachelor's and master's. Let me quickly recap why. See, there are five important points. The first one is the quality of education is quite high. The second is very low tuition fees. And the third point is financial support from the government up to 5,200 euros per annum, which is an excellent option. And the fourth point is like we have 1 year post-study work visa options, which helps the students to enhance their careers. And the last but not the least is exposure to the very old culture where people are very happy and safe. We look forward to bringing you more videos on different subjects to study abroad. Have a great day.